How's it going, Habibis? We are back with a Dark Magician video. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about Spirit with Eyes of Blue. We are going to talk about everything with that card, my thoughts on it, how I feel, if it's a good card, if it's worth playing, if it's cope, or if it takes this deck to the next level. We're going to go over some combos on how to play it, as well as I'm going to show you guys my deck list that I've been using in the Duelist Cup, as well as we're going to do some replays. So be sure to stick around till the end so that you guys get all the information on how to use this card in Dark Magician. Yes, we are going to adopt. Actually, we're going to take Blue Eyes' new support. It's ours now. What do you mean Blue Eyes support? Our support. Let's get into some combos first on how to use this card. Okay, combo time. Here we go. So it's our boys, our two Dark Magician starters. You got Magician Souls and Magician's Rod. So 2-card combo here. We're gonna go Rod. Rod is gonna grab our Servant. Okay, so typically Servant does very little by itself, but we're going to use our Dark Magician engine to do what it does best, and that's to be a draw engine. Now, what you draw into, that's up to you. I'm going to show you guys my deck list after this so that you guys know what kind of cards you're looking to draw into so that you can make some plays in Master Duel. So what we're going to do here is it's important you first link off the Magician's Rod into Spirit with Eyes of Blue, okay? And also, I don't know if I already said this, you send the Dark Magician Girl off of the Magician Souls. Spirit of Eyes of Blue triggers, we're going to grab our Mausoleum of White, add it to our hand, and then we're going to play the Mausoleum of White. And basically what this does for us, it allows us to dump Dark Magician. You could target either monster, it really doesn't matter. And as you can see, we're playing some little D's and Beaver Warriors, some Luises, but we're going to send Dark Magician to the graveyard. Boom, just like that, we have a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard. So next what you'll do is, you'll go Magician Souls, pitch, draw 2 cards, draw into my little D's. These are just, blanks, obviously. You're drawing into whatever. It could be hand traps, could be, starters, engine piece, whatever it may be. But then next, like I said, we have a Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard. We're going to banish Soul Servant, draw 2 more cards. So just like that, 4 free cards, okay? And then now we're going to go Spirit with Eyes of Blue because we're locked into dragons, okay? So we can only summon dragon monsters. So we're going to send our Magician Souls to summon Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Now that we have 2 dragons, we're going to link both of these off into Hieratic Seal. Now remember, you start off the duel with 5 cards. This was just a 2-card tutorial. So we're going to have 7 cards in our hand right now and a Hieratic Seal. Now we did use our normal summon, but this just gives you some ideas. If you're playing the Azamina engine like I am, or playing Diabel, you can start making plays there. If you have the toy box stuff, you can maybe, get some bodies on the field for some more link plays, but you have 7 cards in hand. And typically, if 2 or 3 are hand traps, Hieratic Seal, that's actually pretty good. So you're in good shape here with this engine, using it as a draw power. Now, I'll go over one more, combo that you can do with it that is basically in engine, and then we'll go into the deck list. Okay, so combo number 2, and real quick, I didn't say this in the first one, my bad. Big shout out to Loza, the goon. I got a lot of these from him, so shout out to him. If you guys aren't following him, he's the DM savant. What we're gonna do for this one is we're gonna grab our Rod. We're gonna whip out our Rod on him, put back the little D. We need to keep the IOC in hand. We're gonna go Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod is gonna allow us to grab Soul Servant, and then we are gonna go into our Spirit with Eyes of Blue. So yeah, these are from Loza. Be sure to show him some love. We'll grab the Mausoleum of White. Mausoleum is going to do the same thing it did in the previous one. We're going to use it, and we're going to send our Dark Magician to the graveyard. So now DM is in the graveyard, okay? We're going to go Soul Servant, put Timaeus on the top of our deck. And this is if you're like really down bad and you only have IOC. So there's basically a 1-card combo with IOC, kind of a 1.5-card combo, but you get the picture. So now we needed, that's why we kept the IOC, because we needed to send a spellcaster from our hand. Now we have 2 dragons on the field. We can go into Hieratic Seal. So just a down bad method to go into Hieratic Seal if you need it. Now something else I want to point out with Hieratic Seal is, and this is something that I could experiment with, I might end up doing, what do you summon off Hieratic Seal? I'll talk about it a little bit in the deck list, but I like Bestials in this scenario, but also you can summon out Fallen of Albaz, which is nice. If you don't use Tamias to go into it, you could summon Tamias. Now that might not be the best play, but you know, if it happens to be like main phase 2 and you know Tamias is going to stay on the field for until your next turn that you could fuse with it, that might not be a bad option. But I like the idea of Fallen of Albaz, so I might experiment with a little branded package. We'll see. But anyways, those are the two main combos. Primarily that first one, using it as a draw engine and being able to end on Hieratic Seal, is probably the biggest benefit of this this card. Now, my honest opinion, I'll give it to you before we get into the deck list. I think this is a good card for the TCG. However, for Master Duel, not as much. See, the problem is we have Verte, and Verte is objectively better than Hieratic Seal. Going into Dragoon is better than Hieratic Seal. And typically, we're sacrificing our 2 monsters on the field unless we can generate the bodies to get multiple bodies on the field. And you're going to see, I'm going to show you guys a replay where we do that. So I'll show you how to do that, but it does take a specific combo, and it's not something that we can do as consistently as I'd like. But I still think it's not a bad idea to play the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. They're not bad cards. Definitely might get some more use in the future if we get some new support, but I'm going to kind of put this more on the side of cope rather than, you know, something that I think should be played by all DM players and this is like going to push us over the edge. It's not that great for Master Duel because, like I said, Verte is better. Anyway, let's talk about some deck lists. All right, Habibi, so I know a lot of you guys were asking for a 40 card list. You're going to get a 42 card list and like it, okay? So it's not the 60 card list. I'm going to preface this with saying I prefer the 60 card list. I feel like the 60 card list allows for more hand traps. It allows us to play more starters such as Diviner, and it doesn't have these awkward ratios like the 2 Deception and the 2 Diabel Star. It just allows us to play more starters, and I feel like that helps the deck. Something also different that you'll notice with this list is we are playing Magical Eyes Fusion over Red Eyes Fusion. So basically, what I found is that if you're playing the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, you have to play 2 Dark Magicians. Now, in my 60 card list, which I'll show you guys because that's the one I actually was playing with that you'll see in the replays that we're going to show. In the 60 card list, I'm playing 2 DMs, and that's necessary for ref. But with Magical Eyes Fusion, you can actually get away with just playing 1 DM, and it's not as bad. It's actually a good thing that Mausoleum of White sends your DM to the graveyard. It's always a good thing, right? So it makes your Magical Eyes Fusion active. It also makes your Soul Servants active, which is really good. Also, if you have Eternal Soul, it can, make that active too. So that's why I switched to Magical Eyes Fusion. Now, the $1 million question is, how do you get the Spirit with Eyes of Blue off of your field after you use it? Because you are Dragon Locked. So what I've come to find is, yes, in a perfect world, you're able to link off Magician's Rod, link off Magician's Souls, and then go Hieratic Seal, and then boom, you get a huge disruption. Something else to point out with the Hieratic Seal is we're not playing any dragons in this deck, so you don't get the secondary effect to summon something. So you can very easily play a couple Bestials if you want to push the deck, which I don't think is a bad idea. Push it to maybe 44 cards, play 2 Bestials, just so you have the targets there. And obviously they're really good. They act as good hand traps in this meta, so not a bad idea there. But something else I've realized is playing our boy Armalier, the Star Leader Dragon, comes in handy because there's a lot of times where you'll have maybe Toy Soldier on the field and Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and you're Dragon Locked. Well, you need to get that Spirit off to make some plays, so you'll go Armalier, and that will enable you to do some other stuff. And we're also going to show in the replays just another way to get the Spirit off the field, but those are just the main thoughts about this particular build. We are playing, I believe, minus the Bestials, I think we're playing 12 hand traps, right? 2, 4, 7, 9, 11 hand traps and a board breaker here. So 12 going second cards. Count these, that's 14. So however you want to play it is up to you. I'll show you guys the 60 card list real quick. All right, so this is the 60 card list. Now, something that I forgot to mention, I did talk about Diviner previously. We're not playing Diviner in this because I realized that when you're playing Diviner along with the rods and this double Toy Soldier, that's 7 normal summons. That's not bad. It's not bad by any means. I just wanted to try something different. I upped the number of preps, and we're trying no Diviner, and we'll see how that works. To be honest with you, you can go either way. Real quick, I do want to point out 2 cards that I thought about playing. I tried them in dueling yugioh Omega because I didn't want to, you know, craft 3 URs for this mathematician. This card is a 1-card combo to get you your Spirit with Eyes of Blue into Hieratic Seal. So something to keep in mind, you would have to play this at 3, and then you would have to play the Trick Clown something, this guy, yeah. One of those. So basically how this works is you summon the mathematician and you use its effect to dump any level 4 or lower monster from your deck to your graveyard. You send the performance Trick Clown. The Trick Clown's effect is if it's sent to the graveyard, pay 1,000 life points, you special summon it. So now you have 2 spellcasters on the field. You can link both into Spirit with Eyes of Blue and then into Hieratic Seal. Obviously do the Mausoleum of White thing. So that's an option if you want as a normal summon instead of Diviner, or you could go no Diviner. I've been playing no Diviner right now, but you know, to be honest with you, it might be better with Diviner. I don't know. I've been having success so far in the Duelist Cup with this one. So I just wanted to point that out so you guys are aware that this is an option. If somebody happens to have 3 mathematicians or wants to craft them, it's not a bad idea, you know, especially if you maybe incorporate this in the 40 card build, or, you know, the closer to 40 card build, then you'll be able to have more consistency in using Mathematician as your normal summon, as a good starter for the deck. So not a bad play there, something to consider. Let's do some replays, let's talk about them. First, we're gonna start off with the Duelist Cup ones. All right, so this is what it looks like when we pop off, so let's pop off. Okay, so I think I mentioned this ahead of time, but typically with this combo, when you're using Spirit with Eyes of Blue, you want to keep the Magician's Souls on the field as long as you can. So we're going to use that Soul Servant to draw into Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod is going to grab our circle. So now I'm going to go Rod. Rod is going to go Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Now what I do here is I'm going to dump my DM, okay? And I'm going to use my circle to stack my deck. So now depending on what I see, I can, you know, choose to get rid of the circle. I chose to, and obviously get rid of the Mausoleum of White. I chose to keep the circle and go for this toy box because I knew I have Diabel. My Diabel plays here, and Diabel and toy box have great synergy. I go into my other Spirit, and then we go Hieratic Seal. So now we're going to go Deception. I'm going to get rid of this Diabel star. At this point, it seems like my opponent doesn't have any hand traps. And we're going to go into our Mew, and then Mew Rasalago is going to grab the Wanted. We're going to activate the Wanted ahead of time, okay? So normally we wouldn't do it like this, but I wanted to be as efficient with my bodies as possible, right? You guys know what I'm saying, right? So normally we'd use Hollowed Azamina, spin back the Mew, and then activate Hollowed Azamina and chain Wanted. We didn't do that there, and that's okay, because I wanted to keep my bodies on the field so that I'd have enough bodies to go into Verte. We're gonna go Diabel Star, and spinning this back from the field is just not very cost effective. So now we get to summon out our Diabel Star. We also get to summon out our Toy Soldier. I'm gonna set the Rasilia face down, and we're gonna go Toy Box. I'm gonna link both these away into Verte. I could have also gone into a double effect, a double flavored Chaos Angel there, but we're gonna go Verte. We'll go Hollowed Azamina. Hollowed Azamina is going to send the Rasilia. We'll get Ilia Sylvia, and then we're gonna activate Verte here, go into Dragooni. So now we're gonna draw some cards and set the Deception that we get at the end phase, and let's see what we got here. So we have 2 toy boxes, which shouldn't be overlooked. These are a soft once per turn. So since we have 2, we can send both these to the graveyard and protect 2 monsters and destroy 2 monsters on our opponent's field. So we have some battle protection there. We have 2 Omni Negates. We have a Hieratic Seal spin, and we also have Droll and Lockbird. Now you're gonna see it's gonna turn out to be the Droll is what's gonna win us the game. So our opponent is playing Ultimate Slayer. This is that, which I feel like every video I've made so far has just had this Tenpai deck that plays nothing but board breakers. So they are going to out our Omni Negate, they're going to out our Hieratic Seal. So that sucks. They get to draw a card here. We're going to draw them, okay? They activate Called By on the draw. I'm going to use my Dragoon Omni Negate on this. So despite Ultimate Slayer being a great card, the fact of the matter is it targets, and Dragoon cannot be targeted. So my Dragoon was in good shape. So my opponent has activated 2 Ultimate Slayers here. Now here comes a thrust. They're going to thrust, but they have to set it because they can't add it to their hand. Now here comes a 3rd Ultimate Slayer. They're going to get rid of Verte. That does absolutely nothing. And they scoop. They have nothing left to do. Dragoon and Droll, too powerful. And that is what it looks like when we pop off. So there's a lot of potential with those Spirit of Eyes of Blue. Let's go into another replay. All right, guys. So here we have a really good replay. This was a hype moment from my stream. It's a great come from behind win. Going second is tough against Yubel. Let's see what we do here. We try to Ash the 1-for-1. They have called by. We try to imperm the Samsara. Well, watch this. So the thing is with Yubel, you Ash and imperm the first stuff they have, and if they have the next 1-card combo, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Unfortunately, they're able to go into Muckracker at the cost of summoning their Maxi. It allows them to go Samsara, summon out that Samsara, and then now they can go full combo. So it is what it is. They pop off from here, and I'm just kind of sitting here like, dang, I have this really good hand that if I would have went first, I would have had a good chance. Then again, my opponent had Maxi. But then I had Ash, so yeah, I would have had a great chance going first against this guy. But, you know, I'm starting to think it's time to surrender because they're popping off, and going up against Yubel with 4 cards in your hand is typically not a good time. So they're going to go Lacrima. Lacrima is going to revive back the Engraver. Excuse me, it's going to add the Engraver. They're going to add it to grab the Tract. Tract is going to send the Lori. Some of the Lori, you know, rinse and repeat. I'm sure you guys are sick of seeing this combo. They're going to go Yama, though. They're going to go Yama. Yama's going to allow them to make their Unchained plays. Grab Shavar. Shavar's going to pop them up. Muckracker. And we're going to go Engraver. Summon out the Unchained Soul of Rage. And then inflict 1200 damage here. And then go into Mr. Kesar here. Okay? So what am I contending with? I got a Kesar. I got, so 2 monster summon negates. I got a monster effect negate, and I have a disruption on a monster that's special summon. They can basically take it and go into SP Little Knight. So basically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 disruptions, you know, and Yama in the grave as well to deal with. So there's a lot going on here. Let's see, and not to mention Nightmare Pain. So let's see how we finagle this. Big draw here, called by the grave. We're going to play Toy Box. Toy Box is going to let us set our Toy Tank and our Toy Soldier. Now I'm going to normal summon my Magician Souls here, okay? Normal summon Magician Souls. If I were to special summon Magician Souls and they use the Wave King Caesar effect, it's GG. We're going to activate Magician Souls effect, draw 2 cards here, okay? And I'm going to chain block the Toy Tank with the Toy Soldier. My opponent is very conservative on their Kesar here, okay? They do not want to use Kesar's effect. That's fine. Okay. We're going to go into Spirit with Eyes of Blue. And notice how we need to make sure, something to point out with Spirit with Eyes of Blue, it only has 1 link arrow pointing to the bottom left. So keep that in mind. You want to make sure you keep that zone free. Okay? Just something to always remember. I don't even know if it comes up here, but we do it. So we are going to send the DM to the graveyard. We're going to grab IOC, activate Deception. Deception is going to send our Spirit, so that which is great synergy. You know, I think in the next replay, I'm going to show you guys that too. But great synergy there. You get to send the Spirit for free to get rid of that Dragon Lock, okay? So now here, they allow me to summon Dark Magician Girl. This was a huge point. They did not use this to get rid of Dark Magician Girl. You always fear Dark Magician Girl. We go Chaos Angel. We get rid of the Wave King Kesar, use 0 of its effects. They go Phantom of Yubel. We're going to call by the grave of that, just like that. And then they waste this Unchained Soul of Rage. This guy is floundering. He doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know what day of the week it is. He doesn't even know what game he's playing anymore, okay? We got rid of literally 6 negates in 1 play there, which is insane. Insane. All because he allowed me to summon Dark Magician Girl. He wasn't scared of Dark Magician Girl. He should have been. Now we just go unimpeded. They have nothing left. They already they wasted this on the Chaos Angel because it was a dual flavored Chaos Angel. Had the light and the dark effect. So that's why it was unaffected by the Soul of Rage. We're going to go Verte here. Summon out, or grab Hollowed Azamina. Do our normal Diabel play here. Grab Diabel Star. Summon out the Ilya Sylvia. And right now my opponent is just scratching his head thinking, what went wrong? We're going to go Sinful Spoil, Subversion. Just add insult to injury so that nothing gets destroyed because Yama would have triggered in the graveyard. And they scoop it up. The big come from behind victory versus Yubel. Last replay from the Duelist Cup here, and then we'll go on to some ranked matches with the deck. Let me know what you guys think. Do we like the Spirit with Eyes of Blue? You guys know my opinion on it. Now let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm very interested. It has some uses. We're going to see here some synergy with another engine that we're playing in the deck. So our Rod is going to get Veilered. We're going to set the Toy Soldier and we're going to send it with the Diabel Star. So the Toy Soldier is going to trigger. So there's a lot of synergistic engines in this deck. That's what I like about it. That's what I think really works so well. We're going to set the Deception. That's going to come in very handy just a sec. So we have this Soul Servant. We don't have any Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard. We're going to go Spirit with Eyes of Blue, grab our Mausoleum of White. Mausoleum of White is going to allow us to send our Dark Magician. So now Soul Servant is live, but also this is what I was saying. We can use our Deception of the Sinful Spoils to tribute the Spirit with Eyes of Blue so that we are no longer dragon locked. So really like that bit of synergy there with the Azamina engine. Now we have Hollowed Azamina, and my opponent is going to hit me with not one, but two Mulcharmy Fulalos. Very fair and balanced cards. So now each time I summon from the deck or extra deck, they get to draw 2 cards. So I'm just going to go for the Ilya Sylvia, just go straight for an Omnigate. But what I'm going to do is we're going to do what the Spirit with Eyes of Blue does, and it generates us card advantage. So I'm going to grab my Magician Souls and my newly added toy box, and we are just going to start drawing some cards here to try to keep up with my friend here drawing 2 cards per each summon from the extra deck. So something really cool here happens. I'm going to get rid of the Mausoleum. I have, 4 slots, main monster zone slots filled. He's going to imper my Magician Souls. I'm going to negate that. Why do I negate that? You're going to see in just a sec. This allows me to draw 2 cards. Now, unfortunately, the 2 cards I draw are not helpful, but it would have been nice if we drew like another disruption, like an Imperm or Ash or something. But we summon Toy Tank. Toy Tank allows us to bring back the Ilya Sylvia. So that's a little tip that you can do. If you know you have Toy Tank on the field, you can use your Ilya Sylvia Omni Negate ahead of time. So we're going up against Blue Eyes. This is Dark Magician versus Blue Eyes. This duel right here will determine which one is better. Only this duel determines it. We were very disciplined. We did not imperm, or we did not use our Ilya Sylvia on the Sage. We were saving it for the Maiden of White, and I think the opponent knew that. They ended up surrendering. And we also had an imperm set, so we had a couple disruptions there. We were able to play around 2 Fulos, and we were able to draw into a lot of cards, which is really good, especially for a 60 card deck. So Spirit with Eyes of Blue definitely has its utilization. Is it a mainstay? Not quite yet. I really don't think so. I think for the TCG it is. I think it's something you should play in the TCG, but with us having Verte, we're better off going Verte. So unless we can consistently go into Spirit with Eyes of Blue, I'm going to say 50-50. You're not wrong if you play it, but I feel like there's better options. Let's go into some ranked matches. All right, so just so this video doesn't take too long, we're just going to go over one last replay here, okay? And this is from ranked this season. We're going to go Diabel Star. Diabel Star sends the Dark Magician Girl. Even though the Fuloses are dead, we want DMG in the graveyard because we have the Soul Servant. So now we're going to go into our Mirasalago. And this is just something like, it's kind of a weird thing to call this synergy, but being able to send Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from the hand when you have a Soul Servant, and then also being able to use the Wanted as draw power here so that we can add a card that we want, a Dark Magician engine, to our hand, is huge. So there is some good synergy with Azamina. I think that's why I'm telling people they should play it if they're feeling down bad about DM in this current game state. It's not perfect, but it gets the job done. So we normal summon our Rod. We are going to go into Verte, then we're going to go Circle and send our DM and our Red Eyes, summon out Dragoon, activate Hollowed Azamina's effect. And in this scenario here, I did things a little bit differently, okay? And I had the Heart of the Cards on my side as well, and I was able to set up my DM triangle. But basically, I wanted to have the Sinful Spoils of Doom. I didn't want to go into Ilya Sylvia. I could have, but I wanted to use this Roselia just because I feel like it's such a good disruption that people don't see coming. And my opponent here does something very cowardly. You're gonna see he literally sat there for 5 minutes straight because he was so salty that he just lost to the Ultimate Wizard in terms of attack and defense. Can you believe that? What a bum. Anyways, guys, that is the video. We're gonna call it there. If you guys liked it, if you thought it was entertaining, if you thought it was interesting, hit that thumbs up button for me, okay? Sub to the channel if you're not subbed, and let me know what you guys want to see. Are we doing more DM stuff? You guys want to see more stuff with Spirit of Eyes of Blue? Let me know if you like the card or not. But until next time, Habibis, peace and love. Take care of yourselves. Is where we